Hello, welcome back to Morning Qi Gong. It is Monday, June the 29th. This is the Levy Tai Chi School, and I am, of course, your dedicated and sometimes tired instructor, Lao Shi Paul Nettles. So if you happen to catch yesterday's video, brief though it was, you heard that sometimes it's okay to skip class, and that's true. That's very, very true. I don't want to downplay that. One of the things that we face as people who exercise, people who pursue mindfulness, who have set any kind of goal, really, is psychology. When we discover something new, whether it be another person who we care about deeply, or an exercise form, or a mindfulness practice, or a new car, anything, we tend to hit a honeymoon phase. Anticipation and the joy of this new thing, we're over the moon, and at some point we peak, and then we fall off into the plummet, where the newness is gone and the shock is gone, the joy is leaving us, and what's left behind is maintenance and work, the reality of things. And usually we plummet and we hit bottom and we stop. Not always, of course, obviously, but that's the usual case, especially on less important things, on frivolous things. So we end up describing kind of a sine wave, an up and a down, and an up and a down, and an up and a down, back and forth. And as time goes on, those peaks and troughs get smaller, but they still continue to some extent. And Qi Gong is exactly the same way. Or even Tai Chi, anything in terms of mindfulness practice. We have a goal in mind, whether it be nebulous or specific, and we try to fit practices into that goal. And Qi Gong might be that practice, and we say, this is going to be the answer to my goal. This is going to do it. And we have that initial honeymoon phase where everything is sunshine and roses, and nothing can go wrong, and we're just racing upwards. And at some point, we get tired. We can't maintain that constant high, that constant drive toward the new thing, and we tank, we plummet, we roll over the top of the cliff, and down we go again. And unfortunately, that's when most people stop, when they give it up. So if you have made it past that first plummet and are still here, congratulate yourself. That's a big accomplishment, staying with it. If you haven't yet, be ready. It could happen very easily. It could happen without warning. You may suddenly just become disenamored of things. You may just be, I just don't care anymore. I don't see as fitting my goal. We have a great mind for coming up with reasons not to do things. So be ready for it, be aware of it. Don't let it worry you, don't let it throw you. Just be realistic. Understand that this is not a temporary thing. This should be a lifelong journey, in the same way that eating well to control your weight, or exercising of some form, riding a bicycle, jogging, walking, whatever you do for exercise, that isn't something you do for a while and then stop because you've reached a goal, a plateau. This is an ongoing thing. This is something you'll do, hopefully, the rest of your life. And that's good. For those of you on YouTube who can't maybe see this, Christy, actually my first wife, said the bloom is not quite off her rose, and that's good. That's good to hear. He's still in that honeymoon phase. like I said, be ready for it. There's going to come a time when it's drudgery. I tell my Tai Chi students especially, and I mentioned it here before, when we start Tai Chi, it's this amazing new thing, and we're relearning how to breathe and how to walk and how to move our center of mass, and it's this extraordinary thing. And I have them walk, and next class they walk, next class they walk, next class they walk some more, and very quickly you get sick and tired of just walking. All you do is walk and walk and walk and walk, and you think surely there's more to this, and that aggravation gets to hatred. You hate to walk, and then you push past it if you have the motivation to continue, and you find a depth there that is very unexpected. You enter into a whole different phase of thinking about things, and you start thinking long term. You start thinking as a journey, not a destination. You think, I've learned to walk. Well, I'm finished. What's the next thing? Well, walking is the next thing. Walking is the everything. All that Tai Chi is one long walk with some variations thrown into it. So when you learn the walk, you've learned Tai Chi. The rest of it is simply specifics, is variations on a theme. The same thing Qi Gong. The basics are very simple to grasp, especially if you do something as simple as the Eight Silken Changes or the Swimming Dragon. There's not a lot to learn in terms of the physical motions and the basics of how you hold your body and how you breathe. What deepens it is the continued practice, the months and years to come where you really, really dig deep into it, where it becomes a part of your life. That's the thing. That's the crux to this. So hopefully you're here for the long haul. I really hope you are. That's when the real thing comes. That's when the real rewards come. Speaking of, I did mention last week, and I think I mentioned briefly, I may have mentioned Saturday, I don't remember Sunday. I don't remember Sunday very well. And for those of you curious, yes, the cat finally did get to settle down and had a good night, so I'm well rested, thank goodness. The cat is the cat. But he's feeling better apparently today too. He slept well too. So I am definitely wide awake with you this morning. I did mention at some point, end of last week, about moving into some of the simpler pieces, just as a reminder, just as a freshener. And I think we're going to work on that a little bit. There are days when you don't have time to spend half an hour, 35 minutes, 40 minutes with me or by yourself doing the whole Qi Gong form, the Eight Silken Changes. And obviously, we said before too, if you don't have time but you still want to do a form, you can always do, instead of 8 each, you can do 4 each. You can do 2 each, you can do 1 each. There's always ways you can break down the system into simpler, more manageable bites to fit your schedule. Hopefully you don't need to. Hopefully you can spend the full half an hour with the form, but sometimes you simply can't. And the fact that you're doing anything at all is a plus. You're staying in the mindset of, I'm doing the form, I enjoy the form, I want to do the form, I need more of this. That's a good place to be. So if you can't do the 8, if you do 4, if you do 2, if you have nothing else but a moment, we can do the Inso, which is actually Japanese, not Chinese, but is still completely useful and completely a mindfulness exercise in and of itself. It is very, very straightforward. It is very, very simple. The reason I like it so much, and I have become enamored of it very shortly here, just a few days ago, Cindy Blair, on one of her wonderful art videos, was showing us how to paint one, and said that you could also, do it in assembly with items around you. You can do it with pencil. You can do it with the air. You can do it with the dirt. You can do it anywhere. What I like about it the most is that it is not only portable like your breath, it is something you can do in times of stress, something you can do in times of distress, something you can do when you have 30 seconds. You can do it in the bathroom. You can wake up, brush your teeth, do an INSO or 2 or 3, and still gain, to some extent, an amount of mindfulness. You can be present. That's really what it comes down to. You're being present for 30 seconds, a minute. And you can sprinkle that through your day all over the place. All over the place. If you're at work, if you get up for a smoke break or go to the restroom, do an INSO, do 2, do 3, do 1. When you've walked your car and sit down, do one before you drive. When you get home, do it in your garage. Before bed, when you go to the bathroom, when you're watching TV. It is wonderfully applicable everywhere and very portable. So let's practice that very briefly. We'll do a few of those and then we'll resume with the regular form. So I'm going to step back just a little bit. So the INSO, you've seen, I'm sure, whether you know it or not by name, is the brush stroke painting of a circle. And usually it's a kind of a blob where the brush first touches the paper or the canvas and leaves a little blot, and then it's just a circle around. And as the circle continues, of course, the ink or paint begins to dissipate, begins to be used up by the process, until by the end you get a very feathered look at the top. And it's just a big circle of continuous movement. And it is intended to be not perfect. Sure, you want to be round, but we realize that as humans we can't draw a perfect circle. With a brush you certainly can't draw a perfect circle. It's going to be erratic, it's going to be dynamic, it's going to be different until it's finished. And we accept that. It's okay to be imperfect. We are in fact imperfect beings in everything we do. So an INSO does not need to be perfect. And ours will be done in the air. So all we're going to do is take a deep breath in. I'm going to impart a tiny bit of Tai Chi practice to mine, and you can certainly do it to yours if you care to. That's called the Fair Maiden's Hand. You'll notice my hand, my wrist, and my forearm are all one level. They're not bent or twisted out of alignment. It's nice and flat. It's very relaxed. My fingers are slightly curved, pulled together very slightly. But I'm not going to do this around the movement. All we're going to do, like I say, take a deep breath in. We're going to breathe out very slowly and describe a circle starting kind of high, maybe in front of our face, and just come around and back up again, holding your palm roughly forward and relaxing. We're going to relax and breathe through this. So I'm going to just tuck my hand behind my back to keep out of the way. And we're going to start the breath in and then breathe out. And again, breathe in. Don't worry about making sure that you're making a perfect circle. Don't worry about making sure that you're perfectly flat. You don't need to be. That's not part of this. This is something I'm adding to it for my own practice. The thing is, you want to be simply relaxed, breathing out slowly, and following the progress of your hand mindfully. Be aware of that movement and that movement only. Let everything else simply be by the wayside. We said before, when outside intrusions occur, acknowledge them and let them go. Let them simply be. You don't need to engage with them. You're going to engage with this movement, this breath out, this circle. You can go small, you could go big. I'm sure you could make big circles if you wanted to. Do a nice big one. Breathe in. Breathe out. That was much more of a Qi Gong breath. Very, very long, slow breath. You can adapt this. If you have shortness of breath, if you have a low lung capacity, if you simply don't have time to breathe real slow, I hope you do. But if you feel that you've got 15 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds, make a small circle. It doesn't take much. If you have time for a nice big slow circle, then by all means do so. The more control you can exert, the more mindfulness you can exert over yourself, the better. Every effort goes forward, excuse me, to the whole. Everything you do. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on a little bit. I can sit here all day and talk about things. You notice I'm back on the front porch. We're still facing some rain. I'm thankful for it, but it's also aggravating. I can't get in my yard. But, so enjoy the new view of my porch, the other side, the one you never get to see. Trying to kill that flashing of the auto white balance as it tries to adjust to the backlighting. Alright, this will begin with our 8 Silken Changes practice and the first sow. More of that nice round movement, round circular breathing, lifting the heavens. Okay, this is backwards. Breathe out. Bow, shoot, tiger. breathe out. Stars fall to earth. Breathe in. Lion wags tail. heavens and earth. Breathe in. Quan seats its own throne. In. and stamp the earth. One more. All right. Well done. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for staying with me. I hope you are drawing everything from this you possibly can. I hope it is paying big dividends for you. Lord knows you've earned it, and Lord knows we can use them right now. So, very briefly, the museum, the classes in the museum are resumed. We are meeting back in the museum for Qi Gong Saturday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, but the museum is closed this Saturday for 4th of July. So I will do a live broadcast from somewhere near the museum, whether the levee or in front of the museum, somewhere, wherever it seems to be, wherever the mood takes me, where the spirit drags me. If you want to show up, you're certainly welcome to. I will ask that you wear a mask, and we will of course be distanced properly. But Saturday morning, no museum class inside. Museum class outside is a live broadcast. It will be warm. Dress accordingly, unless it's pouring down rain. I think that's the only important thing to mention. Videos are still being posted on levytaichi.com for those of you who don't like to use Facebook. Those of you on YouTube, I have a Facebook page, Levy Tai Chi, where you can see the comments on the videos and catch up with the old videos and so forth. I don't think I can. I've had problems downloading the oldest videos to put on YouTube. I'm going to try to get with YouTube and see if I can figure out what's, or get with Facebook and see what's going on with those. My goal would be to put all of them on the Facebook page, or on YouTube, and on levytaichi.com. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate it. I'm hoping to get all of them together, but if you're new at this, if you're still trying to figure out what's going on, and you're on Facebook, you can definitely go back to the end of March when the COVID lockdown first started and look at the beginning videos. Those give you all the specifics of breathing and moving and weight shift and everything. So check those out, and we will proceed forward. Quick possible buzz. I am looking at getting some t-shirts made. This is in the very nascent stages, doing some looking around and pricing and so forth. No guarantees as to production or time or anything, but I'm looking into it. So if you're interested in a t-shirt, message me, let me know for sure, so I can see if there's any kind of desire whatsoever other than myself for a Levy Tai Chi School t-shirt. All right, I have bicycling to do and Tai Chi to do, and a day ahead of me of housework. Lucky me. Take this energy you've built, take this energy you've earned, do something good with it. It doesn't matter what, anything. And if you have to practice small, practice small. You haven't got to do the whole thing. It's better if you do, but you haven't got to. As long as you're working toward the goal, working toward that journey. I shouldn't say goal. As long as you're on the journey. All right, I will see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Tuesday, yes. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Be well, be safe.